Today I'll show you guys the new and improved ultimate loot goblin build for Nekros, which has been my go-to build whenever I'm farming for any in-game resource, and after the 1999 update, it's gotten even more powerful. I'll be going over the frame, weapon, and companion setup. I use the new Summoner's Wrath in the aura for extra damage on my shadows, then I run the core, which is adaptation, continuity, equilibrium, stretch, transient fortitude, and prime surefooted in the Exodus. I run 3 augment mods on this build, which has 2 core augments, being Despoil and Shield of Shadows, with the last augment being Gaze, comes from Atlas's Petrify, that I've subsumed over Nekros' first ability. For arcanes, I'm running Blessing to increase my health by 1200, which I got fully stacked incredibly fast on Nekros. The other arcane I run is the brand new Arcane Camisado, that gives ability strength whenever a summon minion hits an enemy, stacking up to 60% power strength. This gets stacked up incredibly fast, and a nice bonus is that when it's maxed out, it gives 20% movement speed to all summons. For Archon Shards, I run 2 regular yellows for casting speed, as well as 2 blue ones for armor and 1 for energy max. For the weapons, we'll be starting by looking at the melee weapon, which for this build I'm running the Ripkas for the augment mod and Malkin Ripkas True Steel. This mod gives a stat that on the surface seems a bit weird, but it's one of the best augments for Nekros. The augment allows you to split bodies despite not dealing slash damage, which normally is the only way you can split bodies in Warframe. This splitting of bodies is especially important on Nekros, since this Desecrate works off enemy bodies, and not the enemy itself. Which if it's split, it then doubles, so you have 2 bodies you can loot, with Desecrate. This is the build I run on the Ripkas. You technically don't need it to be this fancy, you just need Amalgam Ripkas True Steel. For the secondary, I used the Grimoire, built for ability strength stacking, since Gaze, that I showed earlier, scales its extra loot drop from ability strength. This is my current setup. You don't have to copy it fully, since the only thing you really need is the Voam invocation. For primary, you can run whatever you want, since the damage type is no longer a main factor due to the fact that you're running Amalgam Ripkas True Steel, so you can run whatever primary you want. Now for the last piece of the puzzle, the companion. I have 2 companions that I'd like to use on Nekros. There is Nekros Jr., the Chesa Kubro, and Big Boy, my Sunika Kubro. The main attribute we're looking for when it comes to companion is the mod Resourceful Retriever, which gives you 18% chance to double any resource pickup, which you'll be seeing plenty of with the aforementioned Nekros build. Let's start with the Chesa Kubro setup. This build mainly uses Resourceful Retriever, as well as Retrieve, which works similar to Nekros' Desecrate, but it's on a 10-second cooldown and only works 75% of the time. I run the obligatory Fetch as well as Primed Animal Instinct. I also run Restorative Bond, since it makes revival of companions super fast when you're running Nekros, since it reduces the timer by 3 seconds per health orb picked up. The rest of the mods are basic. You use Metal Fiber and Enhanced Vitality for survivability, as well as Tenacious Bond for extra crit damage. On the claws, the only thing you really need is Elusive Posture, which makes your companion not fight enemies, stay by your side, and dodge 50% of incoming damage. I also do run Bite to buff the crit chance up to 50% so I can trigger Tenacious Bond. Now for the Sunika setup. I have it built for more damage as it focuses on Eximus units as well as doing a lot of damage in general. I run the usual mods that I showed earlier on the Chesa Kubro, which is Fetch, Animal Instinct, and Resourceful Retriever. I then run 2 Sunika exclusive mods, which is Unleash, which makes Kubro jump any Eximus within 60 meters and deal 300% more damage to any overguard that it has. The other one is Savagery, which makes sure Kubro rush enemies and knock them on their ass. I run a bit of survivability with Enhanced Vitality, and to help with my survivability, I run Hunter Recovery, which heals me for 30% of the damage that my Kubro does. The last 3 mods I'm running is Duplex Bond for extra summons, Momentous Bond for extra elemental damage on my Kubro, Contagious Bond to give my Kubro the ability to spread any status element that the enemy might have before getting mauled by my Kubro. The claw build is the following, using Assassin Posture for Eximus, Focus, as well as just a bunch of damage to make it able to one-shot overguard in 1 to 2 hits so I can CC them with Terrify or Gaze. So to conclude, this is my ultimate Loot Goblin build, which has been my go-to whenever I need to farm stuff like Plastids, Polymer Bundle, or any other resource. The build, from my experience, works best solo, since you have control over where enemies are and you're able to use Petrify on them, so they can drop extra loot. Quick heads up for anyone who wants to use this build. The current Arcane Camisado that I used in the build has a bug right now that causes FPS drops in your games as well as your teammates, so if you're going to give this build a shot, do it in solo and not in the squad as to not bother other people. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, and if you want more content similar to this, I'll be working on it in the near future, so keep yourself updated, feel free to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.